This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DRTSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to Guru Tulyulu. Like he is Guru for everyone when it comes to legal fraternity, humanity, and to exercise one's fundamental rights and to remind whether it is High Court or Supreme Court of their constitutional duties or liabilities towards citizens and resources and the country is none other than B.V. Acharya ji. Once again, I'll just give you a brief introduction of this great gentleman at this age. He is once again appearing on DRTSPR channels when there is peril, when there is danger to the democracy or those constitutional bodies which are supposed to function independently. Here we are taking up election commission. The new bill, is it going to say bye bye to free and fair elections? Such an important topic, and this great gentleman again, he has obliged to come on the channels to put some sense into the thinking of the lawmakers, right from Panchayat to Lok Sabha, including assemblies. At least then they will understand the importance of this great democracy. We are a republican nation having submitted constitution to ourselves. But what one by one those constitutional bodies become not at all independent. You mean to say they become so paralyzed, they become captive. Can people participate in constitutional democracy survive? So that is why this show is more important for India as a whole and for all those democracy loving citizens across the globe. Sri B.V. Acharya, hailing from Belpu village of Udupi district, had his early education in Mangalore and obtained a law degree from Madras University in the year 1956. He was enrolled as an advocate before the High Court of Mysore on 29th August 1957 and set up practice in Mangalore. In 1972, he shifted practice to Karnataka High Court, Bangalore. He was the chairman of the Karnataka State Bar Council between 1979 and 1982. He has practiced in all branches of law. He has practiced on original side as well as appellate side. He has practiced before the courts at all levels in the country, right from the court of Tahsildar up to the Supreme Court. That is why his personality for this issue is more important and very fundamental to the core of the Constitution of India. He appeared as special public prosecutor in many sensational cases. He has also appeared before many commissions of inquiry. He appeared as He was designated as senior advocate by the High Court of Karnataka during May 1989. In December 1989, he was first appointed as Advocate General of Karnataka. In all, he held this said post 5 times. I salute this gentleman. Great man. He has served as director of the Karnataka Bank for 8 years from 1996 up to 2004. In 2005, he was appointed as special public prosecutor in the disproportionate assets case against Selvi Jayalalitha, former chief minister of Tamil Nadu, and others. Her name is referred by Mr. none other than Prime Minister Modi during no confidence motion. He is trying to bring back that episode of 1989 in the Tamil Nadu Assembly of that sari for forgetting the disproportionate assets case. Even that should have been discussed. So this great gentleman was appointed the special public prosecutor for that case. In 2006, he was honored by the High Court of Karnataka during its Golden Jubilee celebrations on his completing 50 years of practice at the bar. People may ask, why again I am trying to bring it? Because of the topic which we are going to discuss. We need such type of versatile personality in all branches of law. And his experience is enormous. This experience will make the best of the people in the parliament to at least start protesting against the law which may be considered against the free and fair elections and the democracy. In January 2009, the Mangalore University conferred on him honorary doctorate recognizing the service rendered by him in the legal field. He has received many awards. For a term of 3 years, August 2009 to 2012, he served as the chairman of the BMS Education Trust, which managed various prestigious educational institutions, including the engineering colleges and one law college, where whoever those years were flying to Bengaluru, were moving to Bengaluru for education. He was the chairman of that big trust. He served as a member of the 19th Law Commission of India with a term of 2 years, 2010 to 2012. Now, which we are witnessing in the name of the Uniform Civil Code is the 22nd Law Commission. He served 19th Law Commission. In November 2014, his autobiography, All from Memory, was released by the Chief Justice of Karnataka, Justice D.H. Waghela, in the presence of former Chief Minister Sri M. Veerappa Moily and Sri K.K. Venugopal, Attorney General of India. On 28/10/2017, Sri B.V. Acharya was felicitated on his completing 60 years of practice at the bar. The function was presided over by Justice M. N. Venkatachalaya, former Chief Justice of India, with Justice L. Nageshwar Rao, Judge Supreme Court of India, and Justice P. Vishwanatha Shetty, Honorable Lok Ayukta, as chief guests. In the same year, Bar Association of India honored him with Lawyers of India Day Award. What an achievement! Presently, now, now I think at the age of 88, if I am not wrong, he is in active practice before the High Court of Karnataka, having completed 65 years at the bar, including over 30 years as a senior advocate. Welcome, sir. Welcome to you. My hearty welcome, and all those viewers would love to hear you. I'll just show what is the topic all about for you to understand. I've just kept it in this thing. This is Election Commission of India, Election Commissioners Appointment Bill, farewell to free and fair elections. Bringing the Election Commission under the control of the political executive is repugnant to the concept of an independent election commission enshrined in the Constitution. With several state assembly elections and the parliament election coming up in the next 1 year, the union government seems to be set on a reform mode. On August 10th, the Narendra Modi government surreptitiously introduced the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners' appointment conditions of service and term of office Bill 2023 in the Rajya Sabha. The objective is to replace the present arbitrary system of appointment of election commissioners, which is based on the executive considering a panel of candidates and selecting one considered acceptable from its point of view for approval by the president through a collegium method. So we used to have the president, the prime minister, the leader of opposition, and the chief justice of the Supreme Court of India as the panel to select the election commissioner, chief election commissioner. Now they want to do away with the Chief Justice of India. Why? The same thing has been happening with all constitutional bodies. But Election Commission, if they tamper with this, and then they said they will appoint, Prime Minister will appoint a minister in place of the Chief Justice of India. That means Prime Minister himself and his appointed minister and only opposition leader for namesake, 2:1, without saying, can democracy prevail? Why this is happening? We have been raising so many cases. Election Commission and Commission of India gives us complaint IDs, it never acts. And one such so regarding educational qualification, it is really putting Mr. Narendra Modi and his cabinet into this thing. Is that for that reason? Let us hear from him how genuine, how legal, how good this change, if at all, happens. If this legislation passes through Rajya Sabha, what is the peril for a free and fair election in this country? And in saying so, the democracy, the tenets of democracy, can they survive? Welcome, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Friends, my friend Ms. Reddy has already informed you about the background and the topic for the day regarding Election Commission of India. Now, in any democratic country, there will have to be free and fair election, and that is possible if only the power of conducting that election vests in an independent body, uninfluenced by any external forces, any political party, even otherwise. Now, it is well accepted in our country we have democracy and the constitution envisages the power and duty of holding elections to the parliament and to the state legislatures with the Election Commission of India. Article 324 is the relevant article which says that the power and control and supervision of these elections will be vested in an election commission. It said election commission will consist of a chief election commissioner and such other members of the commission as the president may appoint. Initially, till the year 1989, from 1950, we had only one chief election commissioner who was the commission with all the powers. In 1990, for the first time, the government decided to have two more election commissioners. And since then, we are having one chief election commissioner and two election commissioners. Now, all the three are having equal status and powers. And the Supreme Court has said, as far as possible, the decision of the election commission means it should be the decision of the entire election commission consisting of all the three. As far as possible, it should be unanimous. If it is not possible, then it will be by majority. Now, this is the composition of the Election Commission of India. Now, Article 324 said that subject to any law that the Parliament may enact in this behalf, the power of appointment of the Commission shall vest in the President of India. That means whether it is one chief election commissioner or two more election commissioner, the power of appointment vested with the President. Now, as is well known in law and under the Constitution, the President always acts with the aid of the Council of Ministers, aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So wherever the Constitution says President, it is the central government, that is the cabinet. So the central government has the exclusive power of appointment until the Parliament makes a law in this behalf. Now, the Parliament never bothered to enact any law in this behalf during the last 70 years. The result was the central government enjoyed the full power of appointment of election commission. When this was the position, though originally men of integrity and independence were appointed to the election commission, recently there has been complaint that the government of the day has been appointing election commissioners who are mostly bureaucrats who had a leaning towards the ruling party at the center. In view of all these things, an election commission with very high responsibility of conducting election, its composition itself was a matter of challenge or at any rate dissatisfaction with the people of India that the election commission's appointment is not being done in a proper manner. So when the matter ultimately came up before the Supreme Court of India, only recently, very recently, the Supreme Court the government contended, subject to law made by Parliament, till then we have the power to appoint. Since no law has been made under the Constitution, central government is the authority. Therefore, there is no need for any law to be enacted. The Constitution doesn't say Parliament must enact law, but only says subject to law made by Parliament, government can appoint. Now, the Supreme Court interpreted this provision and said, in the context of Article 324, subject to law means there is an obligation on the Parliament to enact a law providing for appointment of the election commissioners. You can't allow it to remain like this. Secondly, the Supreme Court also rightly held that the election commission must be a neutral, independent body without any bias or feeling of hatred towards one party or the other, because the power of the election commission is vast. Entire power of holding election, allotment of symbols, recognizing a political party, de-recognizing a political party, issuing of any direction, whatever is needed for the purpose of holding a free and fair election vested with the election commission. And such directions have been upheld by the Supreme Court itself, that it has full power to deal with it. So the success of election and election being fair is dependent upon the people who are in the commission. So they must be independent bodies, absolutely neutral, not showing any leaning or preference to any one of the political parties which are there. Now the Supreme Court said such a body must consist of people who are independent, and the power of appointment can't be vested straight away with the central government itself. Though such a provision was there for a temporary period till the law is made. So they said the central government will enact a law at least now, after so many years. And then, even in the interregnum, the Supreme Court felt the power should not be vested with the uh, central government even for a short period, because elections are being held now and then, and the election commissioner being appointed by the central government will naturally will have some sort of a affiliation towards the political party which is ruling. Therefore, they said till the parliament makes the law, we direct that a panel will make the selection. And they said the panel will be leader of the prime minister, leader of the opposition, and the chief justice of India. In this panel, it will be independent body. They have to select and recommend. Now, though this is the provision made by the uh, Supreme Court, the government then felt it is in a great hurry to enact a law, so that this scheme formulated by the Supreme Court will vanish. Thereafter, it is the law made by the Parliament that will prevail. Now, everybody thought, and even the government of the day says, we are introduced this bill in obedience to the directions issued by the government, Supreme Court of India. But in doing so, what they have done is they have totally violated the letter and spirit of the Supreme Court judgment. There is blatant violation of the object, which is to have an independent body, not partisan body or the government. No, power of central government itself. Supreme Court said no, it is not proper. Then can that power be exercised by a prime minister and a minister nominated by him from the cabinet, and then leader of the opposition namesake? Will it be a independent body? Will it be a neutral body? Certainly not, because you see, as between prime minister and leader of the opposition, if there is difference, what will this cabinet minister do? Will a cabinet minister vote against the wishes of the prime minister and side with the leader of the opposition? No. The result is, as you have already explained, leader of the opposition has no voice at all in the matter, because the majority will be the prime minister and his nominee. What if it is, will it make any difference between state, central government appointing or this panel appointing? No. Therefore, the importance of the CJI as an independent person. Now, similar panel was contemplated with regard to the appointment of the CBI director. 3. Some time back, it so happened the Prime Minister's name was accepted by the CJI, and the leader of the opposition gave a dissenting note, disagreeing with the view of the Prime Minister and the CJI on certain grounds. But the fact remains, the people in general have faith, because he is not merely the nominee of Prime Minister, but supported by such an independent person as the Chief Justice of India. Now, my submission is, the bill as it is can never be said to be fair to anybody unless we have got a independent neutral body to appoint. Holding of free and fair election will be a casualty. It is impossible if the commission is partial and he is going to favor one party or the other. Now there are so many disputes where there is a split of a party, political party, which is the real party, which can be recognized, as we have in Maharashtra, and who will get the symbol. These are all very important things, apart from holding of the election itself in a fair and impartial manner. Therefore, according to the spirit of the Act, the panel should have been Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, and one independent person who could even withstand against the Prime Minister and give a vote in favor of the Leader of the Opposition. Therefore, the entire idea of having CJI has been taken away and cabinet minister is put. Now, for one thing, personally, in my personal opinion, it is not proper that all these appointments of high functionaries, the CJI should be involved. According to me, it is better CJI himself is not involved. No doubt, Supreme Court, whenever they constitute a panel, they say CJI will be there. But in my personal opinion, CJI is the head of the judiciary of the country. Nothing in this whole under our scheme is beyond the power of the Supreme Court. Anything is under the control of the Supreme Court. Power of judicial review is there. Any selection made by a panel in which CJI also is a party is likely to come up before the Supreme Court or High Court or any other body. Now it will be very embarrassing for even a high court judge to adjudicate upon the selection made by a body of which CJI himself is a member. Therefore, for this reason, I say, as far as possible, so far as selection to the judiciary itself is concerned, it is inevitable because CJI has to be there because selection is to the judiciary. But in respect of other appointments, however high position may be, it is not good that CJI himself should be made a party which will embarrass him also. And it will embarrass any other body which adjudicates upon the selection made by a panel of which CJI was a party. Instead of, my suggestions are few. In, Instead of CJI, it could be an independent person like I prefer the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, that is the vice president of India. You see, a cabinet minister is nominee of the prime minister. Tomorrow he can say he can be dismissed from the government. He enjoys the position because of the prime minister. So a cabinet minister can never fill up that post. Of any other agency, it is for the parliament to decide who could be the most appropriate independent person. One such choice I put is, though the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, who is also the vice president of India, whose term of office is as per constitution, so who can't be removed by anybody except by the procedure prescribed regarding impeachment, the vice president could be a choice, or the speaker of Lok Sabha. He could also be a proper person to adjudicate upon. In fact, if it is a fight between two political parties, a speaker is also not the proper person. I have given my address earlier dealing with anti-defection law. Now, the power of disqualifying members uh, vested in the speaker is bad. A speaker was never considered as neutral when it came to two conflict because he has been elected by one party. But in the case of a panel of this nature, speaker also could be a person or the president. If none of these are possible, and if any rate you can't have any other eminent person who will fit into the definition of a neutral, independent person, I at least suggest it should be a nominee of the CII. CJI should nominate any other person in whom he has confidence. And we can always have confidence with the CJI. He will not nominate any Tom, Dick, and Harry. He will nominate a respectable person who will be independent so that tomorrow when the selection is challenged, CJI will not be embarrassed because it is he who has not made the selection. Therefore, unless such an independent person is replaced to the place of CJI, the present bill as it is, if it is Prime Minister and Cabinet Minister with the leader of the opposition being in a minority, it is reasonable to assume that such a body will not be an independent body, it will not be a neutral body. People will have no confidence in such a body if the Election Commission of India itself is a body in which the people have no faith. You can't expect the Election Commission of India to conduct a free and fair election. Then the whole effect will be on our democracy. The whole world is considering our democracy as a model one where there has been fair elections, transfer of power from one party to the other. Everything has happened. Unlike our neighboring countries where the democracy has not survived. Therefore, just as we must have a independent judiciary, we must have a absolutely independent election commission, which should not be partial, or at any rate should not be seen to be partial. It should be of the same standard as the Supreme Court of India. Therefore, I hope, I appeal to the Parliament to consider this position, and deleting the name of CJI, they must try to see that the panel consists of some other independent member in place of CJI. This is my views in this matter.
Wonderful, sir. Now you brought out an alternative uh,
Of course,
aspect, because
it
yeah, I
is
know
for the Parliament to
Parliament will
decide.
decide, but Parliament means we the people. We are electing the representatives. They are not superior. They are elected representatives. They are public servants. They should listen to the voice of the people and
True,
the
true,
constitutional
true,
liability and also
true,
democracy.
true, 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 true.
They are
Public
just public.
opinion must be respected.
Yeah. Now we are trying to enlighten public. Now you have brought out another important aspect of Chief Justice of India. Chief Justice of India as a temporary panel also, as you rightly pointed out, if he is there in the panel in this election, tomorrow if that case comes to the bench of Supreme Court or the High Court, it will be embarrassment to legal fraternity because of Chief Justice of India being part of that selection panel. So instead, B.V. Acharya ji is suggesting let Chief Justice of India, because it is an independent institution, judiciary still we consider that. I hope it will remain so
Yes,
for the sake
yes,
of democracy to survive, because judicial review, constitution, and the parliament enactments, they always subject to judicial review. So if this independence of judicial review is lost, having Chief Justice of India as a panel member, what would happen to the independence of the election commission? That means the entire democracy will be in peril. I'm giving you one example. I am the official complainant of 2018 elections here. We said constitutional violations, and I have documented everything, including 14A, 14C, and as well as the video footages, asking the Election Commission of India to investigate till 3 o'clock some percentage. When EVMs are there till 5, up till 5 p.m., that percentage will come, no, automatically it will come out because everything will be reflected. They're all electronic voting machines. They're not like managed ballot boxes wherein you need to count. At least in one polling booth, 1500 votes, polled votes so much. So this is the percentage till 5 o'clock. And they will sign the 14A register signed by the voters, and then 14C signed by polling agent and the polling booth officer, and they have to seal. But that has not happened in Telangana, December 7, 2018. Till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, just minimal percentage of voting they have shown, 20% or 30%. Then in that 2 hours, whoever is there in the queue, what should be the polling percentage? Will it be 30%, 40% more? That is why we asked. In Andhra Pradesh, neighboring Andhra Pradesh, people were standing in the queue till early hours of December 8th, and they were voting. Did the same thing happen in Telangana? We asked video footages. As Rajat Kumar, then the Telangana Chief Electoral Officer, he said every booth has video footage. We asked for the video footage. 14A, 14C registers, they should all go for forensic appraisal. Till now, believe me, sir, they gave me 18 complaint IDs. These are the constitutional violations. We have already documented, because elections were supposed to be held in 2019. It was preponed to suit one political party. He goes to Delhi, he meets Chief Election Commissioner, the party in governance. He comes and unilaterally announces that he is abolishing the assembly, and he announces 101 candidates. Free and fair election means all political parties and independents who are planning to contest should have the same level playing field. How can the party in power will have advantage? And that too, prior to that, the Telangana Chief Electoral Officer Rajat Kumar has announced a program to enroll adult franchise. That means 2019 only elections would have been held. But after Chief Minister held this press conference and went for abolition of that assembly, this Telangana Chief Electoral Officer again comes back and changes his own enrollment. So discrimination, not allowing that adult franchise to vote because of this preponement, and they were allowed to vote for parliament. I said this is a violation, discrimination. Where is there any constitutional emergency? Unlike Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, they completed the tenure of the assembly. They were going for elections. Instead of October, they said they are clubbing these elections in December 2018. I challenged it. Sir, Chief Election Commissioner, our Chief Minister says he met you and you have with you, he has decided that is why he is going for preponing and he is abolishing the assembly. How can this be a free and fair election? When I asked them, no, we are not conducting election in immediate October as he wants, we will postpone. Then also I said, how can you do that? Your own Telangana Chief Electoral Officer, as per his own electoral roles, election should have been held after the completion of the first Telangana Assembly tenure. That means in 2019. That why are you postponing it to preponing it to 2018? It doesn't have any. In doing so, adult franchise, lakhs of adult franchise were not allowed to vote for the Constituent Assembly, sir. Now the same thing is happening now also. An incumbent chief minister announces all of a sudden schemes like waiver of farm loan and all those schemes. Now the elections are to be held in this December. Now we are already in August. Now in the August they are announcing schemes. What will opposition have to do then? Is it not in the enticement of voters? Is it a free and fair election? What is the election commission doing? The same thing goes with the central government too. So when such is the case, how can we expect a free and fair election? And in tune with what you said, sir, if this bill is passed, what should India do? A cabinet minister, prime minister, and opposition leader. For the namesake, you say in Telangana, we have a friendly opposition of All India Majlis Ittihadul Musliman. It always toes the line of ruling party. When IIT students commit suicide in Basara, they don't go. When people are washing away in flood, this AIMM doesn't go. When someone is killed in their own constituencies, it doesn't go. And when farmers are suffering, it doesn't go. When there are health problems, this party doesn't go. In the floor of assembly, they praise each other. What if such type of opposition happens to be there in the central government, in the center, and also a cabinet minister appointed by prime minister? If these three become a panel of selection, what would be the fate of India as a democracy?
Now, one point I wanted to say about the embarrassment of the CJI. Supposing the leader of the opposition and the prime minister, they each propose a candidate. Now the CJI is bound to take one side or the other. Will it not be embarrassing for the CJI either to
Yes.
displease the leader of the opposition or the, therefore I say CJI should not be judiciary. Supreme Court itself is very happy. They go on saying CJI will be there. But I feel last time when they, even above CBI director, also when they said CJI will be a member, I said it is not proper. CJI should never involve himself in any selection process so that he will not become a controversial figure.
So that is fine, sir. But then now, as you rightly said, if CJA is not there, but who will be the other independent one? Now tomorrow, if per se, if opposition and ruling party become one,
That you can't help it.
can't help it. The fate of elections. Now, whom should Chief Justice of India should propose as an independent candidate? Rajya Sabha chairman, vice president, or president, they are all again elected by the same electorate of belonging to political parties for their second term and all. Now you see, when we seek the appointment of President of India on Article 44, Uniform Civil Code, wherein a senior lawyer, she has come out with a
No,
Um,
you see, in NJAC case, which
sir,
the Supreme Court struck down,
yeah,
appointment of judges, they said in the commission there will be six CJI and two judges, senior most three. Of the other three, one is law minister, executive. Another two eminent persons. This don't say eminent jurist, it could be anybody. Two eminent persons will be independent. Now, who those eminent persons are, they are to be selected by CJI, leader of the opposition, prime minister. These three will select those two. That was the scheme in the NJS Act. That was struck down, holding that it will not be independence of the judiciary taken away. So here, CJI can be expected to nominate an independent person. It may be a top lawyer or one of the judges of the Supreme Court or anywhere. Or, see, sometimes it becomes difficult to find names, but there will be.
there will
Supposing
be
Abdul Kalam was there, today we would have said, let him be made the member or
member.
the third person. Because we have many people of that integrity, but suddenly we are not able to find out, and you don't, you can't straight away say this man is, because our level has gone down to that extent. It is very difficult to pick out. Even among bureaucrats, there are very good persons, no doubt about it. In fact,
Yes,
Session is from the bureaucracy, TN
very much.
Session.
Yes,
We don't know whether we will have another TN Session.
yes, wonderful personalities were there from bureaucrats also.
Yeah.
But now we are not in the habit of electing some independent minds. Now we should get in that habit now. Once you get into that habit, as you rightly said, we can find vast majority of such wonderful minds who love to protect the independence of these constitutional bodies, which are very, very fundamental for not only free and fair election, for the survival of democracy. Now I ask you one question, sir, directly. Why do you think Prime Minister is getting into such type of insecure feeling? You
Which,
think the advisors were wrongly advising him? Why the Prime Minister of India is getting into such insecure feeling? Is it the wrong advice
this,
being given to him, that
uh,
Prime Minister and a cabinet minister to be appointed? The neutrality is lost. No, why do you think such type of
with the due respect, I don't want to enter into
right?
political arena. As
Yeah,
far as possible, I confine myself to the legal aspects of the matter.
but the legal aspects only I'm asking you. Don't you think the
But
legal aid?
why Prime Minister acts in a way, who are his
No, no,
advisors? That
legal
will
advisors.
always
No, no, the
legal
legal
advice.
advisors, at least the legal advisors should be there to correct this, no, sir, because Parliament has to enact. And not only that, tomorrow, if someone else becomes the Prime Minister, some other party, the same fate we have to face, not just because of Narendra Modi. Already the law
Yeah,
is
yeah,
enacted.
yeah. You are
Tomorrow,
right.
if some other ex party comes, Congress comes or other party, any party, if another UPA or India, if happens to come,
The
they have to again.
mis, misfortune is every party when in power they make law, they proceed on the footing, they will be there forever, and everybody else will be in the opposition. They do not realize tomorrow I may be in that position.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
what congressmen did when they were in power, the extent to which C, CBI or ED is misused, the extent may differ, but everybody did the same thing.
Maybe they might have opened the Windows Congress in utilizing the election constitutional bodies. Now these people have opened the doors. They have shown in their way. That's what. When you are in power, we want you to become responsible and understand
When
tomorrow
you
such
are in
type of
power, When you are in power, you must always think what law I am making today, it will apply to me also if I go to the opposition. If I am in the opposition, what will happen? Now, so many former ministers are behind bars. And
But
apart from all other things, even regarding collegium appointment to the Supreme Court, there are complaints that judges who are really neutral and who are independent, bold, and courageous are not taken to the Supreme Court. Take the case of Justice Muralidhar. You might have seen other
yes,
day, Falias Nariman and some others, Justice, have said he was such a good judge and independent. So also Justice Qureshi, he too had to retire as a Chief Justice of a small High Court, who was otherwise should have been in the Supreme Court. Why Justice A.P. Shaw was not elevated? See, these are things the newspapers are reporting that independent judges are not taken care of.
so it is the independence of these constitutional bodies which is a vital must for the survival of the democracy. It is a independence, independent judiciary, independent constitutional
Election
bodies like
Commission,
Election Commission of India,
Election Commission,
Election Commission of India, very
and,
fundamental, like all constitutional bodies like
and
CBI and ED.
Comptroller and Auditor General.
Yeah, CAG, Comptroller Auditor General. The other day he was pointing out
He
for
is
one
also independent.
independent. He has pointed out for 1 kilometer of that national highway, so many crores were invested. What happened to that? Parliament doesn't discuss all these things. Political party doesn't want whether it is ruling or opposition, because even I filed a case. I mean, when Prime Minister was being hounded by opposition about these educational qualifications, I said as a responsible citizen I wanted my Prime Minister to be away from all these things. Truth should prevail. I complained to Election Commission of India in April on his educational qualifications. His wife also, she came out, ex-wife, which is there in the sworn affidavit. But Election Commission of India did nothing. And believe me, after that, even the opposition is silent. Even they are not. That is the reason why this show is so important and fundamental. We appeal to the parliament. And in doing so, right from panchayat, even assemblies, you have to understand that these bodies like Election Commission of India should be independent for a free and fair election to uphold the principles or tenets of democracy. Otherwise, what is happening in our neighbor countries, I don't want to name them, how they are so disintegrating. Should the same happen with India? Because as he rightly said, India is a model democratic country. And kudos to all political parties and the Election Commission of India. Till now, the power transfer has been very smooth, unlike what has happened in US elections last year. The Capitol Hill, how it was stormed, they say that sort of happenings we did not witness. But now this bill, is it going to be a pathway for such type of happenings? Why should you have such a bill wherein already the Prime Minister is there and a subordinate to him in the cabinet, Prime Minister is appointing him. Can the cabinet minister be independent and voice his opinion? Will he go against the Prime Minister of India? Is it not just making mockery of our parliamentary procedures
Yeah.
or the people elected
Even
representatives?
the mockery of the judgment of the Supreme Court itself, which said
Yes,
it should be independent.
yeah. They are making mockery of the Supreme Court judgment, wherein it clearly stated
Well,
that it should be independent. You should have independent
Otherwise,
body.
otherwise, why should have any change? Government was there. President shall appoint. Central government. Full power they had. What is the difference? Full power to the central government or Prime Minister and one minister. It
It is
makes
one
no
and the same.
difference.
It is one and the same. President means on the advice of Council of Ministers. Again, it comes to union ministers. Again, it comes to the party in ruling at the center. Is it not making mockery? Why should they fear the ruling party? And the opposition leader also, they should not boycott. They should start discussing the merits. They should not run away from the parliament or
Correct,
assembly
correct,
or panchayat. They
correct,
should discuss. At least
correct.
that recordings will be there, and it will enlighten people when you have a discussion on the floor of parliament. Let government not allow you, let speaker not allow you, the entire countries will be watching. In doing so, people will get enlightened, they will get emboldened, and they will stop prime minister or the ruling party from making such legislations which will hamper the independence of election commission. In doing so, people participatory constitutional democracies will be in peril if this is not stopped. So there should be a discussion on the floor of the parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, not run away, not boycott. In boycotting, you are trying to gain media headlines. In doing so, with due respects to the sufferings in Manipur, such crucial bills, Jan Vishwas, pertaining to the life and health, biodiversity, resources, have been passed without any discussion. That is why we have seen WHO chief visiting, because biodiversity bill has been passed. Your forests, your reserve area, your resources, everything is gone. No criminalization. Only penalties will be there. Same with Jan Vishwas. Any pharmacy can practice drugs on you. They will never get into any criminal litigation as far as rule of law is concerned, except penalties. And that too, by the time they are proved, one
I
rules
was
and says,
suggest I was
yeah,
suggesting, at least in the new parliament building, they must make that well of the house very deep with full water, so that they don't jump into
yeah, the meaning of well means, yes, that is true. Why
it
should you rush
is
to the podium? How do you be there? Make force the parliament speaker to allow you to speak. One opposition leader, 10 members used to discuss the public issues. Why not when you have 130, 140 people opposition? Why are you not discussing? Don't run away, please. Such important legislations are being passed. And we strongly appeal to BJP, RSS controlled BJP, and whoever it is, don't allow such type of bills to be passed on the floor of parliament without any discussion when it pertains to
yeah.
independence of constitutional bodies like election commission. Kindly allow discussion. And how can a prime minister and his own subordinate cabinet minister be in the panel along with leader of opposition to elect or to select? And that too, again, the selection of the candidates is again given to bureaucrats at the cabinet secretary level. What is this? The same cabinet secretary functioning under the same ruling party and same cabinet minister who functions under the prime minister, if they are allowed to select and elect, will it be independent? What tomorrow if Narendra Modi is not there in power? He himself is eulogizing that he is the candidate, which I have never seen in BJP RSS on the no confidence motion and in even independence speech. He himself is trying to project himself as a candidate. Fine, no problem. But on the floor of the parliament, that is not a party related affiliated this thing or in Red Fort. I sincerely wish and hope the BJP member of parliaments, all those members of parliament who have been elected by the people, will restore that faith in them by not allowing such type of body which has got prime minister and a cabinet minister to elect election commissioners. In doing so, tomorrow, what if you are not there in power, some other party comes into the power, what will happen to the neutrality or independence of election commission? Will democracy prevail? The same thing happened with Congress, UPA. The way they were trying to utilize CBI did at a smaller level, the same thing is given back by this ruling party in a different way. In doing so, if you demoralize, if you try to make all those constitutional bodies become partial, can people participatory constitutional democracy survive in India? At least now we want every enlightened citizen, because every citizen is a constitutional authority himself, to exercise his right, start writing to the speaker, prime minister, president, vice president, opposition leader, all political parties, and also chief justice of India.
Create
That
public opinion.
yes, there should be a public opinion on these aspects, and the vital aspect also, the chief justice of India being becoming panel member of to elect or select such type of constitutional bodies should also refrain, so that he can select or elect someone on his behalf, so that when that system appears in before Supreme Court or High Court for any judicial review, there will not be any embarrassment for the Supreme
For
Court or
anybody.
High anybody, because at least as a last choice, people are approaching judiciary. If that judicial activism is lost, people will lose faith in democracy. So here, in this regard only, we are appealing even to the Chief Justice of India, the judiciary, to be away and appoint some independent one. In doing so, we will get the society into that good habit of having some wonderful independent minds who will always think of people participatory constitutional democracy vis-a-vis independent election commission like Mr. T.N. Session, and also all those constitutional bodies, whether it is CBI, ED, they will be independent of all these political interferences.
And
Otherwise,
I
yes, sir, please.
feel CJI himself should realize this and decline to become a member of the panel. He himself
Wonderful.
should
Yeah. Chief Justice
consider
of
that.
India
Yeah,
should come
yeah.
forward. He himself should decline being member of these.
Don't nominate me to so many panels for selection.
Yeah.
It will be very embarrassing.
Now we have seen, because whenever I complained, I make even Supreme Court part of it. President, Prime Minister, so many complaints from 2018. Supreme Court is aware why there is no action on such constitutional violations. Mr. Justice, Chief Justice Bobde was there August 5th, 2020. That converted my complaint as a pill, but all of a sudden it went to the other drive. Why? So such type of constitutional violations by election commission or any other constitutional body will go for judicial review to either Supreme Court or High Courts. If this Chief Justice of India becomes a panel member, can judicial review be independent? This also will cause lot of untold misery and collateral damage to the democracy, the tenets, basic tenets of democracy, as now they are trying to tout the basic structure of constitution, how they are trying to play around with that by allowing Chief Justice of India to become member. Can they refrain? And at the same time, Parliament, will it also discuss and state that Prime Minister, leader of opposition, and then the other independent personality from the Indian society should be there to select and elect, and also the cabinet secretaries association, I mean the cabinet secretary along with some other members again who are part and parcel of the same governance, should they be allowed to select five other names? This is also should be taken into consideration. Otherwise, at least either this way or that way, if ruling party has control over selecting and electing members or chief election commissioners or CBI, ED, that independence will be lost, and a biased constitutional body is never in the interest of the democracy of India at all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you,
very much. Wonderful to host you once again on such an
thank
important
you,
topic.
thank you,
Very kind
thank
of
you.
you. Very kind of you. Do support DRTSPR channel, Citizen DRTSPR channel, and Environment People DRTSPR channels. They are all in larger public interest, because we have no enmity against individual nor animosity against any parties or organizations. Issue as per rule of law, Constitution invoking Evidential Act. At the same time, we say every Indian citizen is supreme. He himself or herself is a constitutional authority by themselves. Right from Prime Minister to Chief Minister, they're all public servants. Whether it is Cabinet Secretary or Chief Secretary, they're all public servants. They are paid by the taxes of the citizens of this country. So remove this fear, and citizens should start writing to protect and save the basic tenets of democracy, which, if this present bill in this present state, the new election commissioners bill, if it happens with Prime Minister and a cabinet minister appointed by him and leader of opposition, if it passes, if it becomes a law, what would be the fate of free and fair elections and democracy in India? Thank you very much, sir. Bye, sir.